What's up, YouTube? It's Richard, founder of ShortTermRentalSecrets.com and Airbnb Superhost. On this week's Q&A, we're going to address the questions that we've received over the last week, and if you have a future question, go ahead and leave a comment below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take an opportunity right now, we'll pause, so that you get notified, because in the future we're going to do some of these live, and you want to get that notice when we're going live. Hi Richard, thank you for your cool videos. Can you please tell us what your Airbnb versus VRBO/HomeAway ratio, like in percentage, what is the percent of deals you get from Airbnb and what is it for VRBO/HomeAway? I have certain properties where I don't list on VRBO at all. Like for instance, the properties that I have in New York City, it's an urban area. I have a lot of success with Airbnb. I have superhost status. I'm as busy as I need to be. And so therefore I don't need additional bookings. And so I don't have it at all. I have other properties that are more traditional, what I would consider VRBO, and VRBO is vacation rentals by owner. Excuse me. So I have traditional properties that are historically VRBO listings in, say, like Colorado, and there I have listings on both VRBO and Airbnb. I do business on Airbnb, but not nearly the same amount that I do on VRBO. So if I had to do one or the other, there I would choose VRBO/HomeAway and turn off Airbnb. But I list them both because I do get an occasional Airbnb listing. And then I have another property down south in Alabama. Again, I list it both on VRBO and HomeAway and also Airbnb. And while the split isn't 50-50, it's close enough. It's like 60% VRBO, HomeAway, and 40% Airbnb, and that 40% is really meaningful. So I can't answer the question as it relates to your listing or where you are, but what I can suggest is if VRBO and HomeAway is in fact charging a 5% fee, there's really no harm or foul in listing it. You might as well go ahead and list it and figure out whether or not it does very well for your listing type, in your community, in your region, etc. Before, when they had the flat rate, it was a real barrier to entry, like who's going to pay $400 or $500 to find out if it works. But if you pay for performance, try them both and figure it out. Considering the cost of renovation, how much should I spend on entertainment? A television in both the loft and bedroom, or just in one location? A TV in the loft area would mean that my family and I would be able to hear what they're watching. So here's my answer to that. I don't know what your budget is, and I also don't know how much you rent for or how often you want to rent, but it sounds like this is a shared environment and your family's living there and you've got this spare loft that you're renting out. Now, my number one thing for me personally, and for people that want to do this sort of as a perpetual side income, a steady stream of income, is that it has to be sustainable and repeatable. And what I mean by that is it doesn't really make any sense to go out, get more rentals with the television and spend more money, and then get really annoyed that there's somebody living in your loft because you can hear the TV and your kids can't listen to their TV and so on. So my very first suggestion would be figure out what your priority is. Is this something that's like a meaningful set of income and you'd like it rented out 52 weeks a year? Is this just a side thing where you're on vacation or once a month you want to rent it out and you can live with it? So before you worry about how much to spend and how much money to rent, really go back to your fundamental why. Like, why are you doing this? If the money is the primary reason and you and your family are willing to sacrifice whatever it is because you want rental income, you're trying to save up for another property, you're trying to save up for vacation or school or whatever it is, and you're willing to listen to that noise, then I would definitely suggest getting a television in the loft. Televisions are relatively inexpensive. You can get a smart TV that streams Netflix and YouTube and other things for as little as $400 or $500. If you increase the number of bookings and or the amount that you're able to get per booking, it'll pay for itself relatively quickly. Again, I wouldn't do that though if it turns out that you start to dislike having people there and you get turned off against Airbnb and you go out of business. That makes no sense. All right, here's a question. It's kind of lengthy, so I'm going to try and paraphrase it. But basically, this person's property is on a tropical island in Mexico. People save for their vacation long in advance, and if they canceled with too little notice, it's unlikely to get booked again. So she's actually reached out to Airbnb, requesting the super strict 60-day policy, and Airbnb basically turned her down, and she wants to know why. And so here's my answer to that. Think about the fact that Airbnb in a very short period of time has gone from like this, what people used to think about couch surfing and millennials and shared rooms and so on, to being the largest hotel company in the world. And while they're doing this right now and they own no real estate, they want to get even bigger. And so the way for them to get bigger is for them to encourage more people to stay in Airbnbs. And the only way more people are going to stay in Airbnbs is if the terms become even more competitive and more similar to a hotel. So if you think about what Airbnb is doing, like it or not, and whether they say it or not, they're trying to take people that would stay in a Marriott or a Hilton or a Comfort Inn or whatever and put them in your home. And I've never checked into a hotel that has a no cancellation policy or 60-day policy, and either has Airbnb. And so the reason that they're trying to restrict all that, and the reason they're encouraging things like instant booking and so on, is to get people that haven't stayed in Airbnbs to not fear Airbnbs, to try Airbnb, recognize how great it is, and the more people that do that, and the more people that talk about it, and the more people that book a second time and a third time, the more people that become hosts, the bigger the whole pie becomes. And what they need is hosts to cooperate with that and say, okay, I might take it on the chin for this 1 week, but I would rather have a smaller piece of a larger pie than have a really great income for that 1 week and have a smaller pie. So what Airbnb is trying to encourage everyone to do is turn Instant Book on, have more lenient cancellation policies, and if I had a crystal ball and had to look forward, 10 years from now, I would say everything is Instant Book and everything has a very flexible cancellation policy, and it's probably not even 10 years. It might even be 10 months or 10 quarters. All right, here's a great question. It's super important, especially if you view Airbnb and vacation rentals as like a primary source of your future income and you want to grow with it. And the question is, thank you for all your videos. I've learned a lot so far. Quick question. Do you own all your properties under your name or an LLC? Also, do you carry an umbrella clause insurance? Now, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA, I don't pretend to be, and so I can't give legal advice or financial advice, but what I can do is tell you what I'm doing personally. And I'm reviewing all of this right now. I've actually spent a fair amount of time on YouTube. I'm filming on YouTube, I believe in YouTube, and so one of the things that I found is a great resource. He's also a YouTuber. Check out Clint Coons. He is in fact a lawyer and does have some advice on how to set up LLCs and protect your assets and so on. Check it out, see if it helps you, if it resonates with you, and then go ahead and make your own decisions. But I can't be the right party to be, giving advice, but I can point you in the direction where I'm finding some answers. I hope you find that helpful. Hope you enjoyed this session. If you have questions for us, go ahead and leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so now, because we're likely going to do these things going live on a forward basis, and you want to receive that notification. So thanks so very much for your questions. It helps not only the channel, but also the entire community. And the more that we do this, the better we all are. So please ask your question. There is no such thing as a dumb question. We want to try and help everyone. Thanks so very much. Have a great day.